I ain't gonna sit here and talk about my damn side the whole time. I'm good. I just had a whole workout, feel strong, feel healthy, so I'm good.
Aaron Donald, he's a full go, y'all. Aaron Rodgers better be ready. Stephen A., I'll start with you. Do you think it's more important that Aaron Donald has a huge game rather than Jared Goff in terms of them pulling this off?
No, I actually think it's more important that Jared Goff has a huge game. I mean, Aaron Donald's about to go against Aaron Rodgers. I don't give a damn what shape he's in, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful fashion. I love Aaron Donald. He's the monster. He's the GOAT. I mean, he's one of the GOATs. He's phenomenal. What I'm saying is that you're going up against that bad man that is Aaron Rodgers. He'll find a way to get around you no matter how much havoc you call, whether they're calling running plays, whether they're calling sweeps, whether they're calling him going to the opposite side of you, whatever the case may be. He'll find a way to work around that. Maybe not in an elite fashion where he's dropping 40 on you, but Aaron Rodgers is not going to just disappear. The potential for Jared Goff to disappear is there. You just had surgery on that thumb. I remember you had a couple of splinters in it, if I remember correctly. Clearly, you could not throw the football that effectively against Seattle. You had a couple of good throws, but you missed an awful lot. And we all know it was because of your thumb on your throwing hand. We understand that. Because of the injury to Jared Goff and how potentially awful he could end up being, going to Lambeau Field in that weather in Green Bay, Wisconsin, it can be incredibly excruciating for Jared Goff just to throw the football, let alone with any kind of accuracy whatsoever. So in light of that reality and the potential for how awful he could end up being, no matter what the Rams defense does collectively, no matter what Aaron Donald does individually, it may amount to nothing because you got a quarterback that simply cannot throw the football and your backup was already hospitalized after the last game. I definitely think Jared Goff is more important and more crucial in this game.
Well, some of the same analysis, but totally different conclusion. Because of a lot of what you just said, Aaron Donald is more important. It's not the Rams' offense that's going to win this game. I mean, the fact is, Goff came in for an injured Walford in the last game against Seattle and played well enough for them to win. But it was very early in the game. It's unclear whether or not they would have won anyway, even without Goff. When people look at this matchup, what is intriguing, there's that word again, Stephen A., about it, is how will Aaron Rodgers deal, not how the Packers defense will deal with the Rams offense. How will Aaron Rodgers deal with the Rams defense? And where does the Rams defense really start? You know, respect to Jalen Ramsey, who is a baller, right? He can shut down by himself number one receivers. You almost feel sorry for the number one receiver. So few corners in the history of the NFL can do that, but particularly in this day and age. But the best player on the defense is Aaron Donald. You have to pay so much attention to him on the line of scrimmage. And as you just said, Stephen A., it still doesn't matter, but you still have to direct resources his way. So other guys don't have to deal with the stuff that he's dealing with, and it makes them better. Aaron Donald, like Goff, just now, like the question is he going to play because of the thumb? It's less than 3 weeks ago, the surgery, right? Is he going to play? Or is a guy in Walford who got cut by the Jets, right? Who had a job lined up outside of football before this year? Or is that guy going to play? Clearly, the Rams are not pinning their hopes on the quarterback play for this team. They're pinning their hopes on their defense, and how Aaron Rodgers responds to the Rams' defense will determine the game. Aaron Donald is the most important player for Los Angeles.
No question. 6 straight seasons, guys. First team All-Pro. That hasn't been done since a defensive player since the 90s when it was John Randall. We will leave it there. When we come back on First Take, more NBA to dive into. We had that blockbuster trade. Brooklyn, 3 big names, y'all. Just one ball. Who will have to sacrifice the most? Plus, what is going on with Kyrie Irving? He's been missing in action. We break that down next. Conor McGregor making his much-anticipated return to the octagon. Don't miss Dana White on what is on the line for the Notorious. The UFC Prez live with us in just...
Play great heat. The minute that he signed with the Bucks and came in the division, you felt like that was going to be a team that had playoff aspirations and beyond, just like us. So I guess it was inevitable.
You know, we've both been around for quite a while, so we both still enjoy playing and competing. It's going to be a very competitive game.
We won't feel anybody! Okay, just like that! Tank's really smooth.
Tom and I have a friendship and a mutual respect. We were texting back and forth on Monday, just kind of chuckling at this, this whole scenario. Listen, he's 43. I turned 42 on Friday, so that's 85 years and a lot of football experience that's going to be on the field on Sunday. When Tom Brady signed with the Bucs, and I knew that he was coming to our division, I envisioned this game. So what was that? 9 months ago, 8 months ago, I envisioned this game happening.
All right, Drew Brees, all sorts of fired up. Max manifesting this one. So, Max, this has to be the game that you're most excited for, right? Brady versus Brees, most intriguing matchup of quarterbacks this weekend.
It's a very intriguing matchup. It's the marquee matchup. I would not say it's the most intriguing. Like, what arouses my curiosity the most is not this game. Because I don't think this game will necessarily be decided by the quarterbacks. I don't know what there really is to decide here. We both know they're great. Tom Brady's the GOAT, and Drew Brees is going to the Hall of Fame. And, the Saints have already beaten the Bucs twice, and they're favored to do so again at home. The Bills and the Ravens, to me, it's Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen. That's the most intriguing quarterback matchup. Because I'll tell you this, guys, and I mentioned it earlier in the show. Fair or not, the winner of that game, when you talk about the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, the winner's going to be elevated to that spot. The loser will be relegated below. Even if you go back and look and say, well, actually, Lamar Jackson's team won, but Josh Allen played better, or vice versa, it's not going to matter. Whoever team wins this game, that quarterback will be in the elite group. That will be elevated over the other one. These are two excellent teams. They both have Super Bowl aspirations. Josh Allen's working with a little more on offense, and obviously Lamar Jackson has more on defense. But Lamar has gotten the monkey off his back, his third trip to the playoffs. Could he win a playoff game? Had to play the team that beat him last time, and he did it. He did it, and we saw Lamar he was awful in his first game in the playoffs. He was much better in his second game, and he won in his third game in the playoffs. And Josh Allen, meantime, went from a guy who was not very good his rookie years, most quarterbacks aren't, to a guy who was solid last year to an MVP candidate this year. And in fact, Josh Allen and the Bills have replaced the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson as the team that most people would tell you is the biggest threat to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. For that reason, because of the position of the young stars in the NFL, because of the evenness of the matchup, I think that that's actually the most intriguing game, if not the most marquee this weekend.
It's interesting. I think one of the beautiful things about this show is that folks don't have just you to rely upon when we're talking about the dictionary. For example, when you use the word intriguing and you bring up the word curiosity or curious, there are other elements that come attached to the word intriguing, or other words that come along with the word intriguing. One would be compelling. Another would be captivating. Those things are also fall under the category of intriguing. And I would say that when it comes to captivating and then when it comes to compelling, Max Kellerman, not just curiosity or curious, but compelling and captivating, I would say Drew Brees and Tom Brady qualify. Drew Brees is going to be 42 years of age. This is it for him. Already got a job in the booth waiting for him once he retires. This could be the end of a dude that has thrown for over, what is it, 80,000 yards, for crying out loud, something like that. I think that number's right. About 80,000 yards, and he's about to say goodbye, fresh off of a season where he's completed 70% of his passes. It's not like he's just done. Okay, he's walking away. When we look at Tom Brady, 43 years of age, I know you don't want to bring that up, Max, because we'd have to bring up the cliff or the ravine. And obviously, you said that 3 years ago and then 2 years ago and then 1 year ago. I understand, Max, if you really want to avoid that subject. I understand, Max. I understand. I don't blame you for not wanting to bring it. I don't blame you not wanting to bring it up, Max. But here's the thing. He's 43 with the supermodel wife. And not only did he go get a mansion in Florida, Max, he got Derek Jeter's mansion, okay? I mean, this is what he did, okay? This is who he is. This is Tom Brady that we talk about here. Oh, by the way, the Tom Ford suits the supermodel wife. And oh, by the way, the Super Bowl's going to be in Tampa. In Tampa this year. I mean, those are the kind of things that we're talking about. I'd say that's intriguing. I mean, I think that when you look at Tom Brady, oh, didn't you say we want to see what Tom Brady does without Bill Belichick? Did you say that? I think you said that. I'm pretty sure you said that. That would be intriguing. I mean, Molly, the matriarch of this show, I mean, Molly wants to see, I mean, when we talk about Josh Allen, that's nice. We talk about Lamar Jackson, that's really nice. We talk about Buffalo and inclement weather, that's not necessarily nice. But Breeze and Brady,
I think that would qualify as
We're
intriguing.
bringing up definitions. Since we're bringing up definitions, if you really want to just say what's the most compelling or the biggest or the most marquee, then I would agree with you. But the word intrigue, the connotation is that part of the reason you're compelled is there's a mystery, there's a curiosity. That's what intrigue really means.
How about who's going to win?
And
how about who's going to win? Is that not compelling?
Sure. Well, except that the Saints are favored. They're at home. They've already beaten the Bucs twice. And I don't know that game will come down necessarily to quarterback play.
All right, but what if it
defense
does?
Versus the Bucs defense.
What if it does?
Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are carving out their legacies now. They're defining themselves now, whereas Brady and Breeze are largely defined. There is some intrigue. I'm not denying it, but they're largely defined. But how we think of the kind of landscape of the best quarterbacks in the world and the teams most likely to win Super Bowls going forward, this game versus the Bills and the Ravens really will have a huge impact on that. The way we perceive Lamar Jackson, the way we perceive Josh Allen. And the reason is it may come down to that. Can Lamar Jackson do what he just did against Tennessee? Not just run effectively, but make those big passes when he needs to. Can Josh Allen be the next thing to Patrick Mahomes in the AFC? I'm intrigued.
You just talking. Molly Wood. If you got a chance to watch Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson in snowy Buffalo, or Tom Brady versus Drew Brees in the Mercedes-Benz Dome, what you watching?
You know what I'll tell you, Stephen A.? I covered the UFC for a long time, and we're going to have Dana White with us in just a bit. I like the main event. In the main event would be Tom Brady and Drew Brees. And I want to let you know this because people might be surprised by this at home. Drew Brees, 5-2 in his career against Tom Brady. That's the best of any quarterback. I was surprised by that. 5-2. That's played him at least 5 games. Sorry, Max.
It is the main event.
When we come back here on First
Sometimes the undercard's
Take,
more intriguing.
Oh, there we go, Mr. Boxing. How about this, Max? Is this